From shields to shells and everything in between. This is SweatyGamer 1939, and I have Escape from Tarkov breakdown of Shoreline Night Ops. This is a good map for anybody who's trying to go and loot, maybe kill some bosses, because all the scavs cannot really see you if you have night vision or thermal optics. Thermal optics is definitely the must if you can afford it in your kit, because it will give you a severe advantage over most of what you encounter on the battlefield. I am currently playing with my buddy Hawk, who's a lot more experienced in this game than I am. So he knows the map layouts very well, and he has a good idea about where a lot of the enemies like to hang out and where the good looting and possible boss spawns are at on this area as well. My buddy Hawk is bringing in a kitted out helmet for me to use, fitted with night vision goggles for me to be able to see in this dark wooded area. Me and Hawk are playing more of assault classes than we are support. He does have the thermal optics, but unfortunately no scope. So he's relying on me to be able to see what he points out with his laser when we go in to this raid. I absolutely love this game. This game is brilliant. You know, we're basically playing the modern day Vikings. We're a trained force with modern day weapons and going in and raiding these scav villages or these areas to get the loot and bring it back to sell and provide a living for ourselves. These hardcore shooters can be a little bit tricky because you do need to treat it like it's a real life situation. You know, you can't be like these Call of Duty players where you just run in aimlessly and just shoot up everything, because you will get absolutely wrecked by somebody who actually knows how to play tactically. Even if you're a spectacular shot, like a lot of us are, you will get wrecked by somebody who knows how to play tactically, especially with somebody who's working in a team. And if everybody knows how to work tactically, that will be hard, regardless of your skill level. So when I play these hardcore shooters, I always use these formulas: diversion, shock, shield, flank, and reassess. I will be going over some of these formulas in this video. That way you can maybe apply it to your raids, especially if you're working in teams, or maybe even if by yourself, to maximize the success of each raid that you're in and the survivability of it. My buddy Hawk is giving me the helmet right now so we can begin this raid, and I will begin the breakdown. The four formulas that we focus on, especially when we're being engaged by the enemy, maybe we don't know where they're at exactly, but we need to figure this out. Or maybe we know where they are, but one of us is pinned, or we can't really move too much, is diversion, shield, flank, and reassess. These are the main things that you need to focus on when we are in these raids. The main thing we focus on is not being clumped together. We don't want to be clumped together for too long, because if we get engaged, we both can end up pinned and getting flanked. You need to try to space out your partners. That way you can have multiple angles on whatever threat may come at you when you're in these raids. Especially in these big maps like Woods, Shoreline, or any big map that's not really urban, we try to have somebody on point, because if they get engaged, the person in the rear might be able to pick up on where the shots are being fired from, while the person on point tries to find cover, because they are the one being currently engaged. They don't want to stand there and try to exchange shots, because they might lose. You need to try to learn when to take cover when on point, or vice versa. If you're in the support role in the behind, in rear guard, you need to know when to take cover and when you're pinned, and try to keep the fire going on you if your partner can get a good angle on whatever the threat is, or vice versa. If your partner is in an area where they can draw fire and you can get to better cover, and you know that your cover is not sustainable for long, then you need to have your partner draw the fire so you can escape and get to a better place or a better position. I don't always measure the success of a raid by necessarily the loot that I get, but how many times I have been engaged or engaged the enemy and have not taken any hits. In open areas like this, I always try to focus on using the natural landscapes to benefit the survivability of the raid. So when I'm in large, flat areas where there's no elevated positions to take, I will always try to stick to the lowest parts of the area that I'm moving through. When scouting a potential area, it's always good to have somebody on the high ground while the person on point that goes in and scouts is moving towards the objective. While they scout it out, the person in support role behind can give suppressive fire if the scout is engaged, or maybe take out potential targets while the person on the ground in the forward position, the scout, draws fire, and the person in behind can pick off targets. Now, ideally, a 3-man team would be great. You could have 2 in the rear with maybe scopes, while the person in the forward position, the scout or the assaulter, can draw the fire while the people in the rear or the rear guard can pick off the targets. And they can try to maybe not use tracer rounds or something like that, suppressed rounds, so the enemy can't figure out exactly where the fire is coming from in all the chaos. Now, one of the brilliant things about this game is, since it is a raid, it's basically like a dungeon, if you think about it, where you come in and the spawns of the bosses are in different areas. So tactically, you have to think about that each time you move into these locations. You don't want to get you and your team killed. When working in assault teams, you definitely want to have constant communication. You don't want to confuse your friend from foe. So you need to try to maximize that communication, as well as making armbands or something visible that you can wear, and you'll know quickly in teams who is who. Shoot me. Hawk is taking the right flank. I am taking the left flank. Right now we're trying to deploy the formula of shock because the enemy doesn't know fully where we're at. They have an idea where Hawk is at, but they don't know where I am. So I'm using the shock method right here, throwing a nade, trying to get that off to surprise the enemy and try to figure out where everybody scatters to. After throwing that nade, I was able to make contact and figure out where people were, and I took the shot. Now, the thing you do have to worry about now is the gunfire that you are giving. You are now visible because the tracer rounds or anything, the bursts of fire, the flash of light is now visible to the enemy. Threw another nade into a suspected area to try to get the enemy to scatter, so maybe we can get a little bit more fire going on any potential targets that are moving around to get away from that grenade. He's laying down on the middle of the road.
I'm healing.
Okay. Something to take in consideration as well, as you can hear, my buddy Hawk was healing. So you need to know when to just pause if you can and allow your partner to heal when in these night raids, because they don't know exactly where we are. There might be some scavs in here. An important tool that you can use as well is your laser pointers. Don't always have them on at all times, because then that's easier for any potential scavs or PMCs to see where you're at. Use it literally like a laser pointer. Just turn it on when you need to use it. Highlight the target that you want to engage. There are yin and yangs to everything you do in combat. So when you have your laser pointer on, you are more visible to the enemy, which is not always a bad thing. Maybe you want to draw fire. So you sit there and you turn on your laser pointer, get them to shoot at you. So maybe your buddy on a certain flank who hasn't turned on his laser pointer can turn it off, make a movement into a flank or a position to get a better angle on the enemy. Or maybe you have a certain area you want to have suppressed by somebody in the rear or somebody who's playing support. So you highlight the area with your laser pointers to let the support player know where you want the fire to go. Yeah, dog tag. He's got an MDR on him.
7.62 or 5.56?
5.
Oh.
Falling back.
Yep, they're on the other side of the fence right there.
He's pushing on me. He's left to right, left to right.
Yep.
So as you can hear here, I just said left to right. I want Hawk to scan left to right because I saw the enemy move left to right. As Hawk draws fire, I decide to move left flank. So I'm moving on the left flank to try to get an angle on the enemy or any potential threat. So I work my way in here on this fence, try to figure out the best approach that I feel more comfortable assaulting. I'm in the corner because I don't want anything on my left flank to engage me while I move in on the complex. Now, this is where it'd be great to have a larger team because you could have people in the rear looking over the position as the assaulters go in and get everything, loot it, and then they divvy up the loot at the end of the battle. All right. Switch to night vision. You should be fine. I'm this way. Do you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This guy, let's see. It looks like it's just a scav. Yeah. Ah, the fruits of victory. Now we can sit there and loot freely and get what we want. And these guys maybe have done some of the hard work for us. So we want to loot and see what they had. Maybe they picked something up that we could use. I gotta reload my mags. One of the key things you do want to do in this game too is one of the formulas that I was talking about, reassess. Always look at what's going on. Check your mags, check your health, hydration, weight even, your stamina. As you get heavier with all this loot, it's harder to move around, so your moves have to be calculated. And always check your position. Yeah. Is there a way you can refine your position for cover? When there's a pause in combat or a lull or when you're looting, you need to try to find positions where you can loot and try to not get killed in the process if you're getting engaged or you get engaged. This is why I wish in Escape from Tarkov you could have an option to drag the enemy off to a more secure location, but you can't. So you just have to try to make do with what happens and occurs in the game. So try to have somebody cover you while you loot a body that's maybe a little bit too exposed during the looting process. So always keep this in mind when looting. Anything that's exposed, maybe, I don't know how the game works, maybe it has a higher rate of spawn for something good. But ideally, you always want to have somebody covering you when you're trying to loot an exposed area.
You could even take the mags if you want to use them yourself.
There's all kinds of crazy strats you could use. You could probably put on one of the masks that the game allows you to have. So maybe it's quicker identification if you're maybe playing as scabs or something like that, or maybe you're just wanting to go sweaty and hardcore and not have no helmet on. You know, it gives for quick identification on the battlefield. Everybody knows who everybody is, and also you can draw fire. You know, if somebody in the group wants to wear a mask, you can just literally draw the attention of the person with the mask, you know, especially if it's well lit, or maybe like one of these masks that has a color that's really noticeable, you can use that to your advantage. Constant communication is always key, especially when looting the area. If you have multiple people looting at once, you have to constantly communicate this while moving in these open areas, because you'll hear bushes rustling or some running or something like that, or movement, and you don't want anybody shooting at anybody because they're jumpy. Knowing when to cycle to different weapons when looting or scouting out an area is pivotal as well. So you can see here I pull out my pistol because this is a little bit more compact and good at close range. So I So I am currently using the 45 caliber pistol right now because I want a big round that can hit something and do a lot of damage, because it may have a small clip, 7 rounds, but man, if I hit something with it, it's gonna hurt. And this is preference. You could have something like a Glock that has a high capacity mag, like the police officers use in the United States, because it has a higher clip and you could lay down some suppressive fire and get a lot of rounds at the target quickly. So anything with a high capacity mag and a high fire rate is great for looting in urban areas, because you can lay down a lot of fire at a target or suppress an area that you want to assault or try to get some angles on when moving. For example, I use the Glock all the time in labs. The Glock is such a great thing for me because I love to be able to assault. Hawk is the better shooter than I am. So he stands in the rear while I assault, and I sit there and spray at anything that I want to draw fire or maybe even to shoot at as I move and make my assault, trying to create angles while Hawk picks them off from the rear. One of the things that I do want to talk about in this video is one of the formulas that I like to use, and it's shield. So I believe, in my opinion, that people should be carrying some smoke grenades. Smoke grenades are a great tool to use on the battlefield, especially if somebody ends up pinned. If the lead man is pinned and he cannot get out of there and his position is unsustainable, the person in the rear can throw a smoke grenade. Hence the name support role, supporting the player that's in the front, assaulting. There's other methods to shield as well. Suppressing fire is another shield as well, to throw as many rounds at the target to keep them from being able to shoot at you or your team. Fire superiority is key in key moments in battle. So when you know that your buddy is being overwhelmed in the front, you lay down fire superiority over the enemy, or at least try to support the assaulter so they can try to adjust their position and try to get out of there. So that is key and pivotal to know when to do that. So take this into consideration when you're kitting the support roles. Make sure to look at the level of armor that the support player has. If the support player has a larger weapon that can fire down a lot of fire on the enemy to suppress targets potentially, you want to have a good amount of armor to be able to stand and bang for a little while until the assaulter can get into a position that's more sustainable. You have to keep this in mind when you're playing assault as well. If you're in assault role, keep this in mind. The support player has to cover up your mistakes. If you're moving into areas that are fully exposed and you're not taking cover, they have to sit there and come out of cover and try to fix the mistake you made, trying to suppress the enemy while you get to a more secure area. So please make sure when you move, make sure you're moving methodically. Now, in this situation, me and Hawk are being a little bit more liberal because we are both basically playing assault. We do not have a third person playing the role as support. We're giving support as we move. So you can do this, but a lot of leapfrogging action is essential. When I say leapfrogging, this means one covers, one moves. And then you repeat this process while moving forward or backward or whatever direction you need to move while adjusting the battlefield.
Could you see my laser?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, reloading the mag real quick.
Same here.
Before we push in there.
Yeah. All right. 3 full red. Oh, someone's rushing. He's down.
Very nice.
Oh, another one in the back there. He's back behind this truck.
Behind the BTR. Oh, there's one right here too.
Got him. The great thing about this complex right here is it's on high ground. So beneficial for the people that can see out from the high ground, but also beneficial for the people assaulting it as well, because you can literally crest the hill wherever you want, shoot from any angle you want, and then retreat back down the hill. So right here, for example, we're behind this truck. So now we can shoot and engage the enemy, and when it becomes too much, we can retreat back down the hill and figure out and reassess and re-strategize. Okay. Good.
Reload your mag too if you want, so it's ready.
All right. I'm good. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's go. Just watch out this back truck area.
Okay. I think we need a leapfrog, so let me see what this guy is who I dropped over here. I think it was looks like a scav. He had a shotgun too. I hear movement.
Yeah, it's that dude behind the truck. Okay, he's down.
I'm gonna loot this guy. I hear movement.
One more way down there, and to our right. Okay, that dude's down to our straight. There's one more to the right there.
Right flank. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push. You pushing up to that? Oh, he's down. He's down there.
Oh, he's down in the forest.
He's down. Heal.
Very nice.
Something you probably heard in war movies is noise and light discipline. This is something you do have to keep in mind when you're on these night raids, or even on day raids as well. You do have to keep that in mind. If you're raiding and you are in a place where you're using a flashlight a lot, you're going to draw a lot of attention, so keep that in mind. Turn it on and off only when you need it. If you're in an enclosed area and you know that your flanks are secure, great. Go have at it. Maybe you want to draw attention to that area anyway, get them over there so you can kill them and get the loot.
Coming up this way.
All right, I'm going around the left flank. Yeah. Shit. I'm reloading.
You good?
No. Get him. Get him. Okay. I had to reload. This is why you need a good partner. Somebody who can have your back. Running in teams, man, you have an advantage. If something like that happens, at least you have another set of guns or eyes or whatever you need at that point to get the butt-clenching moment to end.
I think we got one more.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get him.
Okay, just hold. I got him.
Reloading. I'm pushing left.
He's down.
Okay, I'm just gonna take the left flank for now. We can hold this while I load this mag. Alright, good to go, man. Now we can finally move on the complex itself. Right. So now we're going to have to strategize and figure out how to get to this complex safely, get through it, loot it, see what it's got, kill everybody inside, and extract. Something so tactically cool about this game, too, that it offers, and is also militaries today, is the ability to see lasers only with certain eyewear, like night vision, thermal, or even maybe just the naked eye. Whatever you want to use to your advantage to get the job done is available at your disposal. Always at a cost. Obviously, the more expensive stuff's going to cost you, but man, if you get it, it can wreak havoc on the battlefield. Okay?
I see him sticking his arm out.
He might be dead.
Run away. We can enter from the back, too.
Let's clear from the back forward.
Buenas noches. Ooh, rat cola. Take that.
When in raids, reassess when you can. Always refill ammo, keep mags topped off, make sure that your flanks are secure. If you know that you can't hang out there long, make your looting short, quick, and move on. Don't hang out for too long because things can occur. People might be moving to the gunfire they just heard, or just trying to loot the same spot you're trying to loot. Something to keep in mind now that we're in closer quarters, I pull out my pistol again because I want to have something short, compact. But also now when I'm holding this long hallway, I want to have the rifle. I want to be able to shoot a shit ton of rounds downrange at whatever pops its head out until we can adjust fire or move, because that hallway is a kill funnel. This is where that can be super devious as well. If you want to lay a trap, lure the enemy into a kill funnel, have somebody run ahead, shoot up the place, have them give chase, and then have something heavy with lots of fire at the end of a hallway. Man, you could just stack some bodies. In tight areas, I don't really like to do single fire. I like to have full auto because I want to be able to unleash hell whenever I want. I can adjust my fire as I shoot the rifle by just tapping my mouse button to adjust the rate of fire, so why not just have it on full auto? But that's the beauty of these games and all these weapons. It's your preference. Fit the style of how you play. I bring out the pistol there because I am in a very tight room, but I want to be able to throw around into something that's close that could do a lot of damage. That 45 caliber round, man, if you hit something with that, it's gonna freaking hurt. This is where this game reigns supreme. You can sit there and create magazines on how you'd like. Tracer rounds, higher penetration rounds for heavily armored targets, and also higher damage rounds. So anything that gets hit by that, it's going to get a lot of damage. So there's also ones that are in between that do a little bit of both. But man, if you can create good magazines on how you want to fight and play, you can wreak so much havoc on the battlefield, especially depending on what role you're playing, especially if you're assault and you want to draw fire. Sit there, put a bunch of tracer rounds in your magazines. Get them all to look at you. Look at this area. Hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm over here. While your other buddy with better rounds can pick his targets and do some damage. Just keep drawing fire as the assault. Go from cover to cover. Or even the use of flashlights. Use somebody as assault with a big flashlight. Run up there, draw the attention of the enemy, and then have your team pick them off as you move. Man, you can do some damage on the battlefield, but depending on how you play. There's always yin and yangs to everything, so always keep in consideration the other things that can cross out what you got going on. You know, this is why this channel exists. I love strategy, and I know there's other people out there that love strategy as well. And these things can be discussed here on the channel. I have a Discord. I have other games that I want to focus on too. Hell Let Loose. So 50 vs 50, World War II Milsim, goated. So good. Love the game. They're talking about making a Vietnam game as well, and I am studying some of the tactics used in Vietnam right now, currently, so I am super excited if this is a real thing. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But anyway, the Discord links will be in the channel. The Patreon, if you want to sit there and support the channel a little more so I can make more videos and get a little perks. I do want to try to eventually get some servers going where people can subscribe to the Patreon and get access to these servers, get VIP slots. If you like playing like this and you're tired of running into all the Call of Duty casual players and you want to play more tactically, come in to this channel. We'll get it going. There's plenty of great games out there. If you can find a good community to support it, man, it can be a blast. I have 6 Days of Fallujah, trying to get that going. There's all these other games that are out, Ready or Not, all these games, man, that are so much fun, but you got to have some good people to play with that know how to play these games. But even if you're a beginner, we can learn together. This is what makes this channel so great, in my opinion. We can have open discussions, help each other improve, whatever we can do to get our gameplay better and better and more enjoyable. As we see the fruits of our labor, as we get better and better and just rule the battlefield and just manipulate it and do whatever the heck we want with it. All right, enough of that. Let's get back to the video.
Oh, never mind. That's a fire.
Cultists do spawn on this map, so you do have to be careful when you are moving around at night, because that's when they spawn. Alright, we are in open field, so be careful. Like I just said right there, open field, reassessing the situation. We're communicating that. We're in open field. This is not sustainable for a long period. We have to keep moving, can't stay here. And you just want to keep moving, especially when you're near one of these complexes like this. You don't know where they are. Too many angles for them to poke their gun out and shoot you.
Let's loot everything we can. Actually, let's look. Let's just check, see if the car's here first.
Okay. In the PvP aspect of this game, I'm sure camping is a huge problem. Oh. You are like literally running to the extraction point as a treasure goblin from Diablo, and the camper can just shoot you, take all your hard work, and extract.
Yeah, there is a scav here. Is he dead? Oh, there's another one across there. Laser.
Okay.
Very nice. Oops, had my flashlight. I gotta turn that off.
As you can hear there, Hawk made a mistake. Accidentally turned on the flashlight. That's okay. We're pretty comfortable in these raids now. Even if we were engaged, we try to figure out a solution. Remaining calm is key. Don't panic when things happen. That's literally the worst time to panic. You need to try to stay calm, figure out a solution, work the problem. We have to remember sometimes these games are all about having fun, you know, just don't take it too seriously sometimes. When you want to take it seriously in practice, be serious. But if not, just have fun. Have a good time. Eat this. Sorry. Me and Hawk come to these maps because we want to fight usually the bosses, or maybe there's a particular piece of loot that we want to try to get. But also tactically, being able to come in at night and just work on all these tactics is just a blast. But as far as going and getting the loot, we mainly stick to streets and also the labs. The labs we are starting to get down to almost a T. I will be breaking down how to defend each room in labs, the keycard rooms, and also just the rooms in general. When you're moving up hall to hall or whatever position or route you're in, I will be breaking down where to place yourself and how to defend it. Right, so pay attention to that in the channel as well.
I'm trying to figure out where it is. I think it's way up there. That's right.
Okay. Alkaline cleaner for heat exchangers. Just bring it. I don't really have any loot anyway. That's another thing you just heard. I don't know the looting system as well as Hawk, so I am a nerd, and I downloaded one of the apps to figure that out, to look at the auction, or I should say the flea market prices of everything as I loot, especially in these more liberal maps where I can just sit there and pause, and I know all my stuff's insured, so if I die, I can get it replaced or returned or whatever. You know, the labs is where a little bit more tricky, but that's where the most fun is. We're getting to the point where we can just bring huge packs in there and just grab as much crap as we want and extract and just kill everything or just go unnoticed. You also have to consider that this is just PvE, so it is not PvP, but eventually we will be going into PvP. I just want to know a little bit more about the game and tactically how to play it and what elements I should know, and also the maps themselves. I don't know the maps very well, actually. I rely on Hawk a lot to get me extracted with all the loot. So just keep that in mind. Your weaknesses and your strengths. Play off of each other's weaknesses and strengths. If I am weak in an area, Hawk can maybe be stronger in that area for me, and vice versa.
5.56.
Yeah.
What mag is it? No, I only use the battle mags for the 5.56.
There's 2 battle mags here.
Oh, okay. I'll take them then.
All right, I'm gonna unload the ammo. Oh, I'll put the ammo in it for you. Let's see what kind of ammo there is, though. Inspect, 2 full mags. Ooh, 54 damage, 31 penetration. M855. I'll just load the mags. Well, always use the raid to your benefit. So something that you killed, use what they have on them. Use the food, the water, whatever, you know, whatever you find as you move. Use it. Try to avoid using your own supply if you can.
Oh.
What?
Nothing. Just I saw you looting over there.
That goes into the reassess formula I was talking about earlier. Use what's in the raid. Eat, drink, all the supplies and medications or whatever you can use on the go.
No, we're should be pretty safe. Yeah, I'll take those mags. I mean, they're pretty cheap, but
still.
Well. Here I have this for you.
All right, both mags are loaded, reloaded. Oh, thank you, sir.
I think you need those tourniquets too for your med station.
I do, and I think this is the amount I need. The rest of it.
All right, let's get out of here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I know we've been so spoiled with labs.
Mm-hmm. Remember how uncomfortable we were in labs? Now we're just like normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will try to stream weekly on Twitch. Usually it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays I can stream. That's when Hawk is able to play. Usually on Tuesdays is his best day to be able to play this game. So those are the days that I can stream this, and maybe if not, if he's not available, I can stream something else, another game. But we'll see. That's all debatable. This channel's still new, still trying to figure out everything. And whatever you guys find that you want to suggest it. This channel will cover everything from Bronze Age to Modern Warfare. I have a couple of Civil War games that I posted on the channel if you want to know how those tactics work, or if you want to see something from the Roman era, I do have a video on that, and also I have the game Total War Pharaoh Dynasties, which is a great game. Underappreciated, I believe, in the community. But the fact that weather can be a huge factor in the battle itself is super cool. Rainy, muddy, slows troop movements. So, man, you have to be calculated when you are moving your units when it starts to rain. All this and more, guys. Whatever you like, whatever your style, we got it here. We'll try to make it happen. So just give us a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you want more, join the Discord in the link below, give us suggestions. I'm trying to grow this community. I want to build a community where people can come together and play these hardcore games how they want. I'd eventually love to make this a full-time thing, but I do work full-time at the ER in my area, so I am always usually pretty busy with balancing life, family, and work. But eventually it would be cool to make this a full-time thing. But I'm going to be cranking out videos on the weekly if I can. Also, as well as streaming. So consider subscribing, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. From shields to shells and everything in between. We'll catch you next time.
I forget.
Do you want to keep doing this one, or do you want to go to Kaban?
I don't know. We're gonna change. This was